Hello fellow space engineers, this is Marcelo from ACFM and Gaming, and today I want to show you my latest creation, the M9 Nomad Mobile Construction Vehicle. Now this vehicle ended up looking a lot like the base runner from Homeworld Deserts of Kharak, which is one of my favorite RTS games, especially the Homeworld franchise. Though I do have to say that this wasn't intentional. The only, let's say, feature that I did want to include when I was created this vehicle from the set base runner was the offset turret, because I thought it gave the vehicle a more functional look, utilitarian rather than combat, and it also allowed to install this little drone landing pad without the use of more space on the, let's say, the top deck or the roof of the vehicle. Now let's do a quick overview, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the history of the MCV. Now, MCV, as you know, a mobile construction vehicle, is a term that is used in several games. Originally, at least the one that I remember the most is Command and Conquer, in which you had this large, well, kind of like a gigantic truck that would deploy itself into your main base. These two controls, the elevator, well, basically the two controls of the elevator are the piston head lock and the reverse. Now the MCV is actually inspired by Seth's creation, the Coyote. Now the Coyote is the vehicle that you may remember from that streaming event that we held when we had the rally, which was really fun to do. So Seth made, I believe he made this truck specifically for that event, and it ended up being a highly functional vehicle that I really enjoyed driving. So I wanted to make a more MTF version of it, and this is what I came up with. A lot of the, let's say, features that you'll see in this one are let's say directly taken from the Coyote. So here we have the classic style of airlock. It's not the one that has built-in depressurizing because of size constraints. So the vehicle, it's at least thought to be crewed by at least 2 people. It can house more, but they won't be able to let's say use the cryopods, or they would just have to respawn. But given the current state of the game, in which there's no penalty for respawning, that's not a problem. Now, since at this point ground vehicles in Space Engineers are basically an altar to Clang themselves, so if you are driving a car, you're basically riding with Clang. So I decided to make good use of that and install this dashboard via rotor lock. I'm still working on it, but as you can see, it shows all relevant information, and it uses scripts from my friends Whiplash and Elysius. It even has space for a little RP room. I cannot make any kind of car or creation without any of these. It just wouldn't make sense to me. That's just a personal preference. So you have a small arms locker, a program that is running the floor plan script, because if you don't know this, the floor plan script runs from, it displays the grid that you have the program block installed in. So if I would install the floor plan script in the dashboard, it would just show me the status of the dashboard. So moving on, you have full access to primary, let's say, functional blocks as in most starter ships: the assembler, small cargo containers, and the nuclear reactor. So in case you need to build this in survival, you can just jump start it like this. And that being said, I have designed this dashboard. Let me go back a little bit, and you can see there's a projector there, that all of this vehicle can be built in survival. You just need to follow basic principles, like adding the small rotor head, planting the projector right on it, and then projecting the blueprint of the dashboard. So it also has these kind of like it's like a mini hangar. Now the mini hangar can actually be used to manually build smaller vehicles, like the really liked scout buggies and stuff like that. So allow me to demonstrate what this does. This is basically a composite ramp. I was trying to design one of those merge block tricked ramps, in which you place, a merge block in the middle, and then another one, and you do the whole scissoring thing with the two parts of the ramp. Then they merge, and then you just fill up the gaps, and that didn't work. It used to work. I used to do that for my very old carrier designs, and then I was getting frustrated at it when I realized, wait a minute, I had this flashback of a really boring road trip when I got stuck behind a big carrier truck with a bunch of cars. And then I saw it. Why don't make a carrier, truck style ramp? And this is what I came up with. It's actually, yes, it's one rotor more than what you like, but like I said, once you install wheels in a vehicle, you're already riding with clank. So let's just take full ownership of that and go all out. Now this is another one of Seth's creation that I made vanilla. This is the Jackal. Not the best driver, so bear with me. Okay, second time, easy does it, being careful. And there you go. That's good enough. So like I said, the idea is that if you're building this in survival, you can just plant your landing gears at first block, hand make or hand build your own car, and then just drive it out the ramp. It's not meant to be an automated, printing machine or whatever. It's pretty much a fancier version of a starship with wheels. It does have some features for defense, like this conveniently located interior turret that you can just, reload manually, of course. And it has at least somewhat almost 180 degrees of coverage for Sabiroids, wolves, pesky players that want to gank you, stuff like that. You do have full access to ports all around to manually repair any blocks that may be damaged by meteors or campfire, whatever. A turret that you can manually control from this control seat down there. And a full-on sensor suite with antenna or detector, laser antenna. Fully upgraded refinery that you may wanna, do some, let's say, power control when you're using. And that is it for the features of the vehicle. I would encourage you to try it out yourself. And let's take a look at the earlier, or let's say the inspiration for this. And like I mentioned before, the main source of inspiration was Seth's Coyote, and it's a little bit larger, but it's narrower than the Nomad. And it has all of the functionalities, and perhaps it has even better coverage and better, let's say, thought out for the, the ruggedness of the whole survival scenario that we were playing, especially considering that at that time there was a lot of clanging. He does have a full-on car jack to prevent, let's say, to change the tires and prevent rolls and those mishaps that you find. And as a last mention, this is the very first vehicle like this that I ever saw in Space Engineers. This is the Mastodon by Jura 7. Some of you may remember it, some of you may have never subscribed to it, but I want to recommend it. It's really well put together, and it even has, if I'm not mistaken, a large cargo container. Now, the interior is not pressurized, but honestly, you don't really need that while playing Space Engineers at this point. There's no penalty for just using your spacesuit, so why not? There's still large, actually two large cargo containers. Wow. And let's see, does it have a refinery? I think it does. Yes, it does. And it also has the offset turret on each side, though. So there you have it. Big trucks for fun, clangy experiences on planets. And like I always say, take care and keep playing.